Alright guys, finally we are here to check out the Honor Magic 8 Pro and see what's really new to this device. Now if you've been following the channel for a bit, I've actually covered all the previous flagships on here, but today Honor is in the house and we're going to find out what's actually new with the Magic 8 Pro and how is it going to help you elevate your photography game. Let's begin the video right away. So I've actually summarized it down to 3 main components which we will talk a bit about later. But before that, let's take a very close look at the sensors at the back. Now again, I don't want to get into too many specifications, but essentially you have a triple camera setup over here being led by a 50 megapixel main, a 200 megapixel tele, as well as a 50 megapixel ultra wide. Now this setup is very similar to the other flagships that we are seeing today, but Honor actually did a bit of a software upgrade as well in terms of the engines and all that. There's new engines on board for night, anti-shake, as well as portraits. So we also take a look at those later and see how have they improved compared to its predecessor. Alright, so let's start off with the first big thing about the Honor Magic 8 Pro, and that's all about stabilization. Now the main lens as well as the tele lens comes with that CIPA 5.5 rated image stabilization. That means this is actually very strong. If any of y'all have shaky hands or suffer from shaky images, the CIPA 5.5 graded stabilization is really going to help you out. Now it's going to help you in a couple of use cases. For instance, let's say you want to zoom in all the way 100 times to a subject, maybe a building. And on typical smartphones, you might notice that it will wobble a little bit as soon as you get further into the zooms. But with that stabilization on board, the Honor Magic 8 Pro, everything is very stable and you can do so very easily with just one hand. This will ensure that all your zoom shots are actually very clear and you don't have to keep taking multiple shots just to get the perfect one. Furthermore, it's also going to help you take better night shots. You know, during the night when the light is really low, it's going to take a longer time to capture those images and you need to be really still sometimes, but with the strong stabilization on board, again, it's going to help you take even better photos at night, even if you are moving ever so slightly. For example, if you're in a car. Now, another situation where you might actually need this is also when you are zooming at night. So it's not just zooming during the day, but if you're zooming at night as well to high buildings, high-rise buildings and all that, you just want the perfect shot. Again, it's going to help you take those shots very easily with just one hand. And if you need more help, more support, you can always turn on the AI Enhance, and that kicks in above 10 times zoom to help you capture an even better overall picture. So just to summarize this, the stabilization on board here is definitely next level in terms of getting you the perfect stable shot. It doesn't matter if you're taking zoom shots during the day, zoom shots during the night, or you're just taking photographs during the night. It's all going to help you out in your day-to-day. Even if you're taking short videos, which a lot of us do nowadays, it's going to make your videos even more stable than before. So that's all about the CIPA 5.5 stabilization. Now, let's move on to the second key thing here, and that's, I would say, in terms of the improved portraits. Now, when you talk about portraits, typically on previous Honor devices, some of you might complain that it's too, I would say, too edited for their liking. Well, Honor has heard your feedback here, and they've simplified the entire process. Now, the entire process starts from just entering the portrait mode directly on your phone. Previously, you have like 1 times, 2 times, 3 times, and so on. But now, Honor has found the best focal length for you, so you don't have to figure through all those. There's 5 presets on there, and you can get a proper portrait shot regardless of which focal length you actually decide to choose. Now this gives you a very wide variety of angles that you can play with. For instance, if you just want something a bit far behind, you want something a bit more close up, or if you just want to show off the features of the face and all that of someone, you can also do that directly on the Honor Magic 8 Pro. I noticed that skin tones now is also even more natural than before. In fact, I noticed on some other phones, whenever you activate portrait mode, they tend to mess with your face and transform your face ever so slightly. You might not notice it, but I actually noticed it. But on the Honor Magic 8 Pro, you don't have any kind of those fake faces appearing onto your shots, and I think that's actually great there. Now, moving on to the third point here, and that's really all about smarter use of AI. Clever use of AI, I would say. Now, this is actually very interesting. On other flagships, you see them collaborating with like ZEISS, LEICA, Hasselblad and all that. But Honor actually has this really nice thing going on. It's called AI image, sort of like AI image put together. And that's basically, they're not actually going with just one filter. What they can do is actually detect any kind of photo, the kind of color range within that photo, and actually copy paste it so you can use it in your own photos. Super clever. So again, just to give you some context, for instance, if you just go onto Instagram or maybe like Red Note, you might see a lot of people sharing their photos about how they use a Fuji, a Kodak, or maybe whatever kind of camera that you really like the colors behind that. All you need to do is just go into the camera, jump into the filters, swipe all the way to the left and choose that AI button, and then pick from the photo that you have saved and allow the AI to extract the kind of color tones, and you'll be able to take those photos very quickly. Now bear in mind, this is not a 100% reproduction, but it's actually very close to what you can actually get from those photos that you have just saved. So again, I think it's quite clever over there. Of course, if you don't want to use the AI color grab, you can always use the filters that Honor has put in here. I will call it film simulations, because even the names are very similar to those that you might be familiar with. For instance, you have your clear negative, you have your rich negative, warm negative, classic negative. Those are things that you are very familiar with if you are already playing with a similar kind of camera. So very cool stuff in there. Even if you have already taken the photo and you want to add on that bit of filter, again, you can edit your photos that have already been taken using the color tones that you like, that you have grabbed from a photo on Instagram or maybe RedNote or social media. So I think it's a very clever use of AI to actually produce the kind of filter that you will actually want to use in case the ones that are given in the phone is not up to your liking. Nice. Of course, other than that, you also have your very familiar set of AI features, such as your AI eraser, which honestly speaking, I think the Honor Magic 8 Pro does a great job, especially since I was traveling in China, where there's just people around everywhere, at tourist spots, of course. And with just one tap, you could remove everyone, so that's great. You also have your upscale, your outpainting, your cutout and face tune, which allows you to open eyes, which, in some cases, maybe you have closed your eyes. Now last but not least, there's also a brand new button on board the Honor Magic 8 Pro that Honor is calling the AI button. What's cool about it is that you can actually program a couple of shortcuts directly through your settings. Over here, you can customize functions for your short press, double press, or long press. And for me, I actually programmed it to launch Google Lens quickly so I can just ask things off the bat. And when you're in camera mode, this button actually acts as a shutter button when you click it all the way, and you can also glide over it to zoom in and out. Very convenient. One more thing before we go, there's also brand new watermarks on board. Previously on Honor devices, you have very limited choices of watermarks, but this time, Honor has thrown in so many new different designs, some that adapts to the kind of pictures that you've taken, the colors and all that, and you've got more professional looking ones as well. So a lot of brand new watermarks in here that I'm sure a lot of you photography enthusiasts out there will be happy to use. So all in all, those are the three main things I would say that's coming off the Honor Magic 8 Pro. Not only does it have those really strong hardware as well as software integrated into the lens and all that, but it also comes with a very strong stabilization that's going to help you in your day-to-day, regardless of night or day. It comes with enhanced portraits, it comes with even smarter use of AI to give you the kind of filters or color tones that you might want to use in your own photography. So yeah, overall, very clever device. Anyway, that's just my take on the Honor Magic 8 Pro. Apologies for the voice because I'm still suffering from my flu. Thank you guys for watching this video all the way to the end. If you have any further questions or if you need help with any kind of presets, if you want some advice on how you can take better photography, do leave a comment down below as well. I'll be more than happy to help you out. With that said, thank you for watching this video again, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Do take care, enjoy your phones, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.